Monday, February 1st! There is the closing bell, guys, with the S&Ps finishing up about 60 points. This market seems to be shaking off Friday's woes. Will the rally continue into tomorrow? Let's dive right in, break this market down, and then go over the top stocks of the day. We take a look at the first 15 minutes of trade in the futures, and it wasn't looking too pretty. Continuing off where we left from Friday, however, it was short-lived, and we turned around and we trended higher into the bell. However, once the bell came around, again, we stalled out till about 11 in the morning, and then we just put our foot on the gas and we trended higher, hitting 37.77. We're seeing some selling in the final minutes of trade. However, we're up over 55 points in these futures today. Taking a look at it on a daily, it's a nice rebound if you ask me, and it's a good way to start the month of February. Now, when we move on over to the SPX, remember, we came into this week expecting 133 points up or down. So it was a wider range this week because our volatility had expanded so much. Now, an upper edge on the week would be 38.47, which we're trending there almost halfway through that. We got rejected around the half standard deviation mark. So the question becomes, will we continue to rally higher in tomorrow? And we have some big earnings out of some tech companies. So let's move on over to the NASDAQ and see how tech did. Taking a look at the NASDAQ today, it was up close to 2.5% in these futures, up 300 points. What a day today in the NASDAQ. Technology was just purring. We take a look at our big five and it was up 3.88% today. You can see it led the NASDAQ, and it was a big reason why our S&Ps are up close to 60 points today. Now, we do have some big earnings tomorrow out of Amazon. They're going to be reporting after the bell, as well as Google. They too are going to be reporting. So these are two technology stocks that could keep the momentum going to the end of the week. We'll see if that happens. We even had Tesla up today, up over 5.8%. So all of our juggernaut names today contributed a big amount. Let's cruise on over and take a look at the Russell. Taking a look at the small caps today, they're up close to 2.5% as well. Almost tied right now with the NASDAQ futures. This is what you want to see. When tech and the small caps are both raging to the upside, watch out, because this market is on fire when you see that. Now, when we compare some of our sectors, what led today? Well, consumer discretionary led. But that's not a great telltale sign of it all. We see that the technology sector was up over 2.5%. However, the volume wasn't quite there. So it tells me a lot of traders are still afraid to get behind this rally. However, this dip was quickly bought up. What else was up? Well, the financials are up 1.3%. Trying to put in a floor here. You can see we consolidated for a long time. This 28-29 level will be very strong if we can hold that, possibly trend higher in the coming days to weeks. This will be something we'll keep our eyes on. And we also saw the energy up 0.7%. Energy 2 is trying to find a floor here to trend back higher. With crude oil that was up over 2% today, it helped the energy stocks, but not as much as you'd like to see. And our worst performing sector today was consumer staples. Barely green today at 0.09%. However, it was green. All of our sectors were up. Let's move on over and take a look at our advanced decline line. Taking a look at the AD line, we see 72 up and 29 down. So it's not a full-blown to the upside like we saw on the downside from Friday, 90-10 leaning down. Today we're seeing 70-30 leaning up. However, we're not seeing that 90-10 to the upside, which tells me the rally isn't quite there. We're getting dragged higher by technology names, and it'll be interesting to see if we can get continuation tomorrow with the financials and the energy, and if Google and Amazon can come out with some good earnings. That'll be great signs for a nice bounce and trend back higher to make all-time highs. Let's move on over and take a look at how the bonds did today. Taking a look at the 30-year Treasury, we can see it's up 0.3%. So the bonds were up with equities, which is a little scary sign if you ask me. However, volume's very light here, and it looks like we'll take a look at it on an intraday, just kind of chopping around here. So the bonds around that 169 level, as you can see on the volume profile, it likes to camp this area. Now when we look at the TNX, it was down 1.5%. However, this just could be a short-term down to get ready to rally back higher. We'll see what the bonds do this week, but bonds up with equities is not your normal sign. Let's move on over and take a look at the volatility index. Take a look at the VIX futures. They're down close to 5%. However, the volume isn't quite there, and we're still elevated over $30 here in the futures. We look at it intraday. Trended down all day, however, we are seeing a slight pop in the final minutes of trade. When we look at the VVIX here on an intraday, not that big of a pop. Seeing a 140 VVIX, it quickly came back down over 10 points, sitting around 130 right now. Still, however, the VVIX is still elevated. I would like to see volatility come back down to the 120, 115 area. We'll see if it does, and if it does, that's going to signal that's a rally across the board for the most part. That means equities would be rallying with the VIX coming back down. They kind of work inverse of each other. Let's move on over and take a look at our dollar and see how the commodities did today. Taking a look at the dollar index, we can see it's breaking 91 and it's up 0.5% today. This is probably why we're seeing the bonds up today with the dollar strengthening. That's a good sign for the bonds. However, how long can we go? Is this just a short-term bounce off around 89.20? We'll see how it goes going forward. However, when we look at our commodities, crude oil today, despite the dollar strengthening, was up over 2.8%. You can just see getting a lot of it back after still consolidating here. It's trending higher and it helped our XLE today. What else was up? Well, gold was up as well, just up $13. However, it is green to say the least. But for the most part, the metals are just kind of going up and down, consolidating here. However, silver, which is very interesting, huge volume in it. A lot of people covering their shorts, afraid of possible Reddit attacking the SLV. We take a look at it. Sold off hard, but it's still up over 8%, which is very impressive if you ask me. I don't know if we've seen a temporary top and kind of a pullback here. There's a little gap here, but this is an impressive move today in silver. And last but not least, we have Bitcoin today. Bitcoin was down over 2.5%. However, it's Bitcoin. It's consolidating, some light volume here. We look at it intraday, just kind of chopping around here. And some positive news, Elon Musk came out and said he supports Bitcoin. He not just changed his bio on Twitter, he also is saying that he is behind Bitcoin. When the world's richest man is behind Bitcoin, that's saying a lot, guys. And I'm expecting some big moves coming up this week in Bitcoin, and I will be doing an update video for my Bitcoin charts. Look for that this week some point. There you have it for the stock market breakdown. Now, seeing a wider expected move on the week means we're going to move a lot. 133 points is more than we've been seeing, around 70-ish, 80 points. So starting the week off with 60 points is a great sign if you want to get long stocks. It just seems like this market has short-term memory, and these dips just get bought back very aggressively in stocks that we know: Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Tesla. These stocks are enough to move a market, and we're seeing that today. Other than that, when you have your monetary supply expanding 15%, cash isn't what you want to be in. You're going to lose purchasing power. Increasing our dollar supply by 15% year over year is not a good sign. So sitting in cash, afraid to buy these rallies, you're going to be missing out if we keep climbing higher, even though these levels seem high. Don't be afraid to get in some good quality names. But without further ado, let's dive right in and take a look at the top stocks of the day. So we head over to the scan tab, we hit scan, and we have a list of 6 tickers today. Coming in at the number 3 stock of the day goes to Roku Inc. Today, Roku was up close to 7% with a market cap of $52.8 billion. On a year-to-date, Roku is up close to 31%. Now, what does Roku do? Well, they're a TV streaming platform. Connecting users to streaming content enables the content publishers to build and monetize audiences and provides advertisers with capabilities to engage consumers. So it's like your Netflix. It's a streaming service, guys. You should know what Roku is. Now, why are we up today? Well, didn't find any specific news, but it did come out from Friday. Cathie Wood's ARK invested about 90,000 shares they bought on Friday. So we look at it intraday, we're seeing just some momentum off of that news, as well as some chatter of possibly Disney acquiring Roku this year. That's a rumor, but Roku had a nice day. Now, when we take a look at it on the expected move, we came in this week expecting 28.18. We're up 27.17. We're $1 off that expected move. This level should slow it down and give it some resistance. However, if we do break past this 417 level, it's on for the races. We could potentially be looking at a 2 standard deviation move, assuming the market conditions are in its favor. Coming in at the number 2 stock of the day goes to International Flavors and Fragrances. Man, that's a mouthful. Today was up over 15.8% with a market cap of $13.9 billion. On a year-to-date, this stock is up 23.8%, seeing a big boost today in terms of volume. Now, what does this stock do? Well, it produces flavors and fragrances, cosmetic actives, which it markets globally. Now, why are we up today? We're up large on news of a merger. DuPont's nutrition and bioscience businesses are merging with this company, so it is up largely. When you look at DuPont, DuPont is down large. That's common to see on mergers. Now, let's take a look at it on an expected move, and we came into this week expecting $2.84, which clearly we blew past that level. Now, 5 standard deviations is about 126.58, which we're well above that level, and a 6 standard deviation would be about 280 above that. So take $2.80, and that's every standard deviation. You can see we blew past this week's move. So who knows how high this can go. I would like to see it cool off. You look at it intraday, it trended higher, hit 135 in pre-market, but failed to get back to that level. So keep your eyes on that 135 level if it can get some strength and keep on going higher. But I would expect this stock to cool down, maybe potentially to the 5 standard deviation of 126.58. Coming in at the number 1 stock of the day goes to Virgin Galactic Holdings. Today we're up 21.4% with a market cap of $12.6 billion. On a year to date, we're up 131%. Wow. Some nice volume you've been seeing in the past week or so. That's largely due because it has a high short interest, so it's seeing some short squeezes across the board. Now, what does Virgin do? Well, we talked about it on Friday. Well, they develop commercial spacecraft and aims to produce suborbital space flights to space turrets and suborbital launches for space science missions. Now, why are we up today? After being downgraded, didn't seem to matter. We look at it intraday and it is moving in the after hours. So Chamath is the chairman of the board, owning over 21 million shares, and he's been liked a lot by the Reddit guys. So he's a face that people are liking what he does and how he talks on Twitter and whatnot. So they could keep on buying this stock, pushing it higher, especially if it has a high short interest. So this is a stock, when you look at it on the face of it, it's breaking out, could just keep soaring higher. We have earnings on the end of the month, around the 25th, it looks like. But when we throw it on an expected move, we are expecting $6.80 today. We're breaking that upper edge, which is around 51.09. I would like to see us cool down and come back to that 51 level. We'll see if it can do that. However, if it continues to be squeezed higher, a 2 standard deviation move on the week is 57.89, and that level should slow it down. Other than that, if it breaks that and keeps getting squeezed higher, 3 standard deviations puts us at 64.69. There you have it for the top stocks of the day. Did you get a chance to watch any of these tickers? If not, comment a ticker down below that you're looking at going into tomorrow's tape. Other than that, if you've enjoyed the video, guys, hit that thumbs up button. It means a lot when you guys show some support. And if you're watching me for the very first time, just take that extra second, hit that subscribe button. It will really make my day when you guys subscribe to me. If not, any comments, questions, feedback, leave that down below and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Have a great night. Take care. Peace!